HTS presents Major League Baseball live from Fort Lauderdale. It's the Montreal Expos and the Baltimore Orioles. A glorious Saturday afternoon as we wind down Grapefruit League play at Lockhart Stadium in South Florida. We welcome you to the Baltimore Orioles. Davey Johnson hosting Felipe Alou and the Montreal Expos. Very good to see you, everybody. I'm Michael Reggai, joined by Mike Flanagan. We're very happy you're a part of HTS coverage of O's baseball. And we know, Mike, that the Orioles are a very talent-laden baseball squad, and yet Davey Johnson and his staff have some real tough decisions to make when we talk about how this 25-man roster is going to be compromised.
Well, I think it's Davey's dilemma. You know, 13 pitchers are not really, as the staff sits right now, it's 7 starters, 6 relievers the first week. And what he's concerned about is his bench depth. Brady Anderson has this rib thing, really not sure how that's going to play out. Brady, of course, wants to play, and Davey is saying maybe if we let him sit him down now, maybe we won't have to pay for it later. Robbie Alomar will be missing the first week, so he's really concerned about his depth.
Most of the regulars will go today for Davey Johnson. Scott Erickson gets a starting call on the mound. We'll get to the starting lineups coming up in just a second out of Fort Lauderdale right here on HTS.
Orioles
ready to play.
all season long on HTS. Just ready to play. 5 O's exhibition games this March.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
The O's on HTS.
Back at Fort Lauderdale, let's take a look at our Safeway starting lineups. First for Felipe Alou and his Montreal Expos come in here at 10 and 14 on the spring. Leading off, played shortstop, the former New York Yankee Andy Stankiewicz. Doug Strange will hit out of that 2 spot and play third base for Alou today. Rondell White, having a hot spring, will hit the 3rd spot and play center field. David Segui, the cleanup man, and playing first base. Henry Rodriguez, the big bopper in left field, hitting 5th. One of the young talents, Vladimir Guerrero, hit 6th and play right field. Former O, Joe Orsulak is a DH. You know, swing 7th. Chris Widger over from Seattle, catching and hitting 8th. And Frank Paul Santangelo playing second base and hitting 9th for Felipe Alou. And Mike Flanagan, Scott Erickson making his 7th start of the spring for Davey Johnson.
Well, 29 years of age, 6'4", 230 pounds. Logged a career-high 222 innings last year. Mr. September, he'll try to be Mr. April, May, and June this year. Therefore, he's into his 7th start, as you said, in his last tune-up of the spring.
Now, Erickson just about set to go. This is the final Grapefruit League affair here in the state of Florida this year for the Orioles. They'll break camp and head back to Baltimore. Erickson downstairs with that fastball on the outside edge to Andy Stankiewicz. We mentioned Mike, former New York Yankee, so a lot of American League exposure. Bounced on a couple of skips to a charging Mike Bordick. Got a gun quickly. Got him by a step and a half.
Well, when Scotty Erickson is on his game, he throws a lot of ground balls. He is staying down in the strike zone. The infielders know they will be busy.
So Erickson ringing up Andy Stankiewicz. Coming up left-handed hitting Doug Strange. Strange also, Mike, an American leaguer. Detroit Tigers, Texas Rangers. Bounced around a little bit.
Well, it seems like if you have 4 or 5 years in with the Montreal Expos, you are a veteran.
Oh, you're so right about that. Erickson misses a little bit up. Home plate umpires Ron Culpa today. Culpa with John DeZellin and Mark Facto manning the bases. A good look inside the mask of Ron Culpa. Erickson all set with a 1-0. Make it 2-0 now. Mike, Scott known as a power pitcher. Has he been able to maybe come up with something off speed and working hard on that this spring to add to his pitch repertoire?
Well, he has added in a straight changeup, but he still is really basically...
Strange with a shot to right, going to get down in front of Eric Davis for a face hit, so he roped that Erickson fastball on a line to right for the first Expo hit of the contest.
But he has worked on a straight changeup, and he's also worked on a cutter to be a little bit more effective against left-handed hitters. It appeared to be one there that he got up in the zone. Ray Miller going through a set of signs, and that's really for the catcher, Lenny Webster, whether to throw over the first base or to hold the ball or pitch out.
Here's Rondell White. Rondell White, the center fielder, having an excellent spring for Felipe Alou. 5 home runs, 11 RBI, and swinging away at a 380 clip. Mike, they talk about this guy being one of the top young outfielders in the National League.
Well, he got off to a terrific start last season, and then making the catch at Coors Field off the bat of Larry Walker really ended his season for all intents and purposes.
bends that breaking pitch in, 1-1.
Ended up with a contusion to the left kidney and spleen. One of the few Expos, I guess, with a long-term contract.
Not too many get that in Montreal.
A lot of times they're accused of being a good college program, 4 years and out.
Yeah. Erickson going to check on Strange. There goes Strange. Tapped right back to the mound. Scott's going to only have one play, and he'll go to Palmero on the retirement of Rondell White. It moves up Doug Strange into scoring position with 2 down here in the Expo first. There's a former Oriole, David Segui. David, what, 4 years, Mike, in an O's uniform?
Yeah, he's really come into his own, I guess, finally getting full-time playing time with the Expos. He was over this morning chatting with Phil Izzo, trying to find some tickets for Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. Old acquaintances trying to lend a helping hand, huh?
Yeah, Phil's very popular come ticket time.
Obviously. Those traveling secretaries, they're the guy to go see
today. Yeah. Cars, apartments, plane rides.
Like a Doug Strange as he takes his lead off second. Erickson with a 1-0 blew that fastball right by his swinging David Segui. The Oriole defense this afternoon features Cal Ripken and Mike Bordick on the left side at third and short respectively. Robbie Alomar getting the call at second base. Rafael Palmero at first. The alignment for Davy Johnson in the outfield today. Tony Tarasco in left. Jeffrey Hammonds in center. Eric Davis in right with Lenny Webster behind the plate for Scott Erickson. Segui will spoil it off the left side. So Erickson ahead in this count now, 1-2.
Like you said earlier, Erickson making his 7th start. All the starters on this staff over 30 innings pitched. Was probably the most important to Scott Erickson, known for his terrific September finishes. But somewhat of a slow starter. Had tried to log in some extra innings, maybe take some of that edge off. He truly is a 2-pitch power pitcher. That sinker is right down in the zone, biting slider. Has a no-hitter already under his belt, 20-game season.
Erickson missed upstairs, run that count even now at 2-2 on David Segui. Saw Scott throw last Sunday, Mike, in his last start here in Fort Lauderdale against Atlanta. Went 6 innings. So they've stretched him out a little bit. What do you think he'll go today, possibly?
Probably 6 or 7 anyway. Yeah. I think Ray Miller's only 2 for sure. Today would be Randy Myers and Scott Erickson.
Segui awaits the 2-2 from Erickson. Jammed him, banged it to the left side. Ripken to his left. He'll cut out David Segui. So Erickson will strand Doug Strange at second. O's coming to hit. We've gone through a half scoreless in Fort Lauderdale. Let's check our Safeway starting lineup for Davy Johnson and his Birds of Baltimore. 17-11 this year in Grapefruit League play. Roberto Alomar making his first start and leading off for Davy Johnson today. Jeffrey Hammonds with a hot bat of late will play center field and hit second. Rafael Palmero also swinging a torrid stick in the third spot. Eric Davis will hit cleanup. He too swinging the bat well. Cal Ripken at third base hitting fifth. Chris Hoyle's a DH today in the sixth spot. Lenny Webster catching Scott Erickson hitting out of the 7-hole. Tony Tarasco, the left fielder, swinging eighth, and Mike Bordick at shortstop hitting ninth for Dave Johnson. Carlos Perez, familiar name, Mike, in the Montreal Expo organization on the mound.
Well, one of the swinging Perez brothers, I guess. The only left-hander in that family, 26 years old, 6'2", 195 pounds. Missed all of last season with really a rotator cuff problem, which he had surgically repaired. So they've been going easy with him down here. All-Star 2 years ago.
And did throw a little bit in the Dominican this past winter. He's ahead of Alomar at 0-1. Make it 1-1 now as he backs Robbie off.
His brother, of course, past 12, pitched for the Yankees some, and Montreal.
Expo defense straight up, not medium deep. Alomar will bang it to the hole at short. Stankiewicz will come up gumming. Got Robbie. Perez retires Alomar for the first out here in the O's first.
They're not really concerned about Robbie's straight-on running, and they're just concerned, I think, about a lot of cutting and twisting that takes place in the field. Robbie said he'd like to get at least 3 at-bats today, start working his way back into game shape. Missed quite a bit of time.
That is quite a bit of time.
After leading the Puerto Rican League and hitting again. Missed about the entire spring.
Here's Jeffrey Hammonds looking at a called first strike from Carlos Perez. Jeffrey, as we said, swinging the stick very, very well here in Florida during the month of March.
Had a terrific day yesterday. 4 for 6,
Yeah.
2-run double, 2-run homer. Davey Johnson said he had a little conversation with Jeffrey about almost approaching the ball as if you want to swing at it. You say yes until you say no. He felt that Jeffrey was sort of feeling for the baseball.
1-1 to Hammonds. Jeffrey got jammed and fouled it back.
And really all that translates into meaning is that he wants him to start the bat a little sooner. Don't guess so much. Look for a ball in the area and let it fly until you realize it's a ball.
Or about attacking and being aggressive with the bat.
Exactly.
1-2 from Perez. Went off speed. Jeffrey spoiled it to stay alive. The versatility in this potentially the O's outfield, though, Mike, and we talked about that, decisions to make. Hammonds, Tarasco, Jerome Walton. A lot of ways that Davey Johnson could conceptually go.
Right, and it really depends on the decision with Brady Anderson and what really takes place.
1-2 to Hammonds. That breaking pitch missed in the dirt. 2-2 now on the Orioles center fielder, Jeffrey Hammonds. We're scoreless here in the bottom of the first, just underway. Terrific to have you with us out of Fort Lauderdale on HTS, the final contest, Grapefruit League play. Along with Mike Flanagan, I'm Michael Regan. Get it back to Baltimore and take a look at Tony La Russa and his National League Central Division winners of a year ago. Hammonds with a wicked shot that had Sam Perlazzo dancing a little bit down there in that third base coaching box. Sam's light of foot, though, isn't he, Mike?
He's a good one.
Yeah.
He's in shape. He's ready to go north. He can get out of the way of that one.
And as we mentioned, 3 o'clock at Camden Yards tomorrow. Plenty of tickets available. Come on out and take a look at Sam Perlazzo at that third base coaching box in the Burrs. Hammonds with a rope to left base hit. So Jeffrey Hammonds continues to swing that aggressive bat. Mike, looked like he fought that off a little bit as Perez tried to get in on him.
Well, what happens is if you're not committed to swinging in that situation, you get jammed and the ball doesn't go out of the infield. But when you're being aggressive, as Jeffrey has been certainly the last couple of days, 5 for his last 7 now, Jeffrey's certainly strong enough to fight that pitch off and through the infield.
There's a situation, too, with the likes of Hammonds or Tarasco or Eric Davis, even a Mike Bordick when they get on. A lot of ways for Davey Johnson to start the offense, manufacture offense.
Well, Davey definitely likes a dimension of speed, which he felt he really didn't utilize last season, maybe the way he would have liked to. Very much a bludgeoning offense last year.
Rafael Palmeiro, 396 and a 604 slugging percentage on this spring. That's a little bit gaudy, Mike. 604. That's kind of flashy.
So?
Huh?
You think so? Think he can keep that up for the whole season?
We've got a real story, don't we?
Yeah. But again, just knocking in runs at a prolific pace. I think he has 21 this spring. Just a hitting machine.
Perez will check on Jeffrey Hammonds and drive him back. Coming off a brilliant 1996, Rafael Palmeiro, second consecutive year of 39 home runs for this outstanding hitter.
Second straight year of being MVP. Oriole MVP, that is.
There goes Hammonds. Pitch up high. Widger's throw to second. Not in time. Jeffrey Hammonds with a stolen base. He got under the tag attempt of Andy Stankiewicz. So Hammonds, another stolen base on this spring.
Well, he really stole it off of Perez. Not much chance for Widger.
Jeffrey's in scoring position for Rafael Palmeiro. Rafael looking to add to that club-leading 21 RBI total that he's accumulated here in March. Hitters count, too, for Rafael at 2-0.
Hammonds is a threat to steal third base in this situation. Perez paying extra attention and also buying himself time to figure out what to throw to Palmeiro.
Expo outfield bunching Rafael toward the middle on the outside edge to ring up that called strike for Carlos Perez. Mike, how difficult is it? You talked about he misses all of 1996. I mean, for a guy that at this level has to come back and win a spot in the rotation, you miss a year like that with a rotator cuff. How difficult is it to get back in the groove?
Well, a lot of times it takes longer to get over it psychologically than it does long after it's healed physically. I was watching him warm up for this game, and he really started very early. You figure, being the visiting pitcher, he's probably not going to take the mound to 115. I think he started warming up about 20 till. So that's sort of an indication he wants to make sure he's good and loose before he goes out there. Velocity appears to be good.
Perez ready to bring the 2-1 to Palmeiro. Instead, he'll check on Jeffrey Hammonds. I mentioned this Expo defense bunched. Give Raphael that line in right and also in left.
It's about the only way to defense Rafi. Gets the ball all over the field with power.
2-1 to Palmeiro, lined on one hop to the glove of David Segui. He will retire Palmeiro. Raphael continuing to be aggressive and swing it well, but that one to the glove of Segui. So 2 on now, and the O's first. It moved Jeffrey Hammonds to third base for Eric Davis. Eric Davis, as you know, one of the new Oriole acquisitions for 1997, coming off a brilliant 1996 with the Cincinnati Reds. He too, like Perez, missed an entire year in 1995, had a herniated disc in the neck. Eric looks at that fastball that Perez pours through for a called strike.
You see a very animated Perez. One of those fun guys to watch, I guess. A little maybe on the eccentric side, I'm not sure.
The 0-1 just missed on the inside. Make it 1-1 now on Eric Davis. You saw the numbers a moment ago with 3 dingers and 10 RBI here in the spring. And he, too, having big days with the bat for Davey Johnson.
Playing a marvelous right field.
Waiting the 1-1 off speed slowly to the glove of Strange in third. He'll gun across to Segui, and that'll retire Eric Davis and retires the O's. We're scoreless after 1 in Fort Lauderdale on HTS.
Yeah, I think so. In times that it has happened, the guys that I've been assigned to catch, I think it's been more so for a rhythm standpoint, and we think along the same lines, and it tends to work. So, and I think that's what every manager or GM wants to see, a guy out there who's comfortable and who's going to give you a good performance every time out. And my thing is to get my guy in a good rhythm and keep him in a constant flow, and I think you get a better performance out of you guys.
Lenny Webster. Mike, they obviously got in that groove, did Webster and Scott Erickson, in their days together in Minnesota, and carrying over here.
No question about it. Lenny's had a terrific spring, not only with the glove, but with the bat. I really like what they've seen out of Lenny. Terrific target. Good throwing arm. Certainly can handle a veteran staff, which he'll do this year.
Webster and Scott Erickson already ahead of this man, Henry Rodriguez, the left fielder from Montreal. Struggling this spring, but do you remember the first part of 96? I mean, this guy, they were ready to, I think, construct a shrine to him up in Montreal. What a year he had. Mike, I think he was 25 homers, 70 RBI at the All-Star break, somewhere in there.
Yeah, he still ended up with 36 home runs, not too bad in the year of the bomb. But
put it to good use.
Yeah, the one problem he had last year was probably making contact. Struck out 160 times, and it's really been his problem this spring.
There's a guy that I feel for. I mean, when you lose your son, when your son doesn't stay with you, in baseball terms, not in other terms, but in baseball terms. Moises now with the Florida Marlins, of course. And we'll talk about all the talent that Felipe Alou has lost. Punch-out victim is Henry Rodriguez. Scott Erickson, there you go, going hard in on him, Mike, to ring up Rodriguez.
What's that late-breaking slider? Sort of paralyzes Rodriguez. You start out after, it ends up low middle. You see Rodriguez jump out anticipating that sinker. Just won't get it.
So Scott Erickson recording his first strikeout here against Montreal. This is Vladimir Guerrero. Had a good cut and spoiled the Erickson fastball. You talk about a year this kid had. Now, he's the brother of Will Guerrero, second baseman for the LA Dodgers. They're the spring numbers. But at Harrisburg last year in Double-A, wow, 360, led the league, 19 home runs, 78 RBI.
Led the whole minor leagues, all of baseball, batting with that 360 average. I'll tell you, I saw him about 2 weeks ago just taking batting practice here, and I said, who is this number 27? And really, he's had a terrific spring. I know Philippe Alou loves it.
Fouled that pitch off his foot there as it rolls up the third baseline.
See, he does have that protective device there on that left ankle. He's had that long stride, and many times the result of it is you roll over that top hand, you beat it down on that left foot. This kid can do it all. A lot of people predicting this one to be a great one for some time.
Everybody you talk to in this Expo organization and around baseball just raves about this kid's ability to generate bat speed and put up power numbers. As you see, he's kind of he's strong, but he's kind of on the thin side, about 180 pounds.
And well, he has that good. I guess it reminds me of Ellis Valentine, who used to play with the Expos years back. Sure. Long legs. It's like a pretty good mold for a right fielder. It's been very difficult times getting the feeling back on that leg, though.
Philippe Alou checking on his.
He missed the pad. He's telling him to hit that left big toe. Just goes numb on you.
We were mentioning Moises Alou and the defection from Montreal a minute ago, but I mean, there are more. He lost Jeff Pissarro from the starting staff to Mike out to Seattle.
Here again, that's one of the most painful things that can happen to you. But you're right, Rojas left, their closer.
A couple years ago, John Wetland. You imagine if this club had stayed together with the names we mentioned.
They've been known to develop talent.
Erickson ready to bring the 1-2 to Vladimir Guerrero. Got him chasing that breaking ball. Punch out victim number 2 for Scott Erickson as he rings up Rodriguez and Guerrero in succession.
I don't think the feeling was back yet. There was nothing away from Scotty's slider. It looks like he really feels for this pitch. The last thing he wants to do is foul another one off.
Scott Erickson with an impressive beginning through the first inning and 2/3. Now he faces another former Oriole, Joe Orsulak.
Well, it seemed like just yesterday we were looking at Joe Orsulak in a Miami Marlins uniform.
Because you were, right?
Dropped a few digits. Yeah, I think he was wearing 73 that day. Solid veteran outfielder.
Getting the boys to move and scattering them in that Oriole dugout.
Giving Kevin Harmon some grief.
Orsulak going to go the other way with that line drive base hit over the head of Cal Ripken. Tony Tarasco get it back to the middle of the diamond on the 2-out base hit off the bat of Joe Orsulak. Second hit off Scott Erickson, which brings the Expo hitting lineup down to Chris Widger. Widger, who played at Tacoma last year in that Seattle Mariner chain, and then came over here in the deal that Jeff Pissarro went to Seattle from Montreal.
Well, really stuck between an all-star, behind an all-star catcher in Dan Wilson in Seattle. A lot of playing time up in Montreal. The Orioles were interested, or showed some interest in Chris Widger a year or so back.
Widger hitting with 2 gone, and Joe Orsulak at first. To the glove of Mike Bordick. He'll go the easy way, and that's going to do it on the force with Robbie Alomar at second. We've gone through an inning and a half. Erickson breezing, still scoreless on HTS. Hey, Orioles fans, you know that Orioles contests are best enjoyed in the company of friends and family. So make sure you plan your group outing to Camden Yards by calling the Orioles Group Sales Department at 410-685-9800. O's Baseball. There's nothing like a day at the yard. New right fielder for the Montreal Expos, and that another former Baltimore Oriole, Sherman Obando. Vladimir Guerrero's day kind of quickly comes to an end, Mike, after he fouled that pitch off his foot. Then got rung up by Scott Erickson, and Sherman Obando now in right field. Cal Ripken at 344 this spring to lead it off against Carlos Perez. Cal looks at ball one and missed that outside corner. Cal with his 13th consecutive All-Star start in 1996. Lifts it foul over the O's dugout. He's finishing up the spring. Another spring for Cal on a strong note. 12 for his last 34. Seems to be real comfortable with the new position, third base. The new old position, I guess. The new old position. What impresses me so much, Mike, is the constant work ethic in the way he approaches his business of playing baseball.
Well, a lot of people in this game seem to want to work only on their strengths. And to watch Cal take ground balls methodically day after day.
Ripken going to go the other way. Lift it to right field. Obando will squeeze it for the first out here in the bottom of the O's second. And I bring up Chris Hoyles. Hoyles DHing today from the right side for Davey Johnson. Hoyles, really one of the only Orioles that not with those lusty hitting marks this year. 239 for Chris. He did blast a long home run here off Greg Maddux last Sunday against the Atlanta Braves. Carlos Perez dealing to Chris Hoyles. Starts him off with that pitch up that missed, 1-0. We're scoreless in the bottom of the second. Terrific to have you with us out of Fort Lauderdale. It's the Grapefruit League finale today on HTS. Hoyles on one skip to the glove of Andy Stankiewicz. Throwing across to Segui to get Chris Hoyles for the second out here in the O's second.
Not really 2 up and 2 down.
So this kind of constitute a getaway day, Mike, for sure.
Yes. Yeah, there's not much left in the clubhouse. A lot of luggage. A lot of sport coats around. Haven't seen sport coats all spring.
Yeah.
Well, the gloves are broken in. Shoes are showing some wear. Arms are strong. Hands are calloused. You know, there's apartments are rented in Baltimore and cars and everything else that goes on to go north.
All of the rites of spring coming to a conclusion here today in Fort Lauderdale. 2-0 now on Lenny Webster. I'm assuming that was one of the favorite days in your playing days, getaway day when it was time to get back off the road and back home?
It depends on which stage of your career. I think, the Orioles talking about taking 13 pitchers north, and that, of course, would include Mike Johnson, who really was in A-ball last season, and will be making his first trip north to play a major league season. Some players in the dugout, like Eric Davis, heading north with a new team.
Two and one from Carlos Perez. Went off speed. Webster changed it. Pulled the string a little bit.
Haven't seen that pitch. Had Webster way out in front. You're able to throw a off-speed pitch over when you're behind in the count, just as Perez does here. You're going to have a lot of success. And watch, you think Perez liked it?
You said animated. I tell you what.
That wasn't me, but it seems to work for him.
To the left of Andy Stankiewicz, who will pick it and fire out Lenny Webster. Stankiewicz has been busy, handled 3 chances through the first 2. We're scoreless going to the third in Fort Lauderdale on HTS.
Well, if there is, I haven't found it the last 3 or 4 years. No, I didn't do anything different. I think that the only thing you can do is go into an off season and work as hard as possible and, stay in the best shape you can and basically just work all winter long. And that's what I did. And, hopefully you can come out in these games down here and do well and carry the confidence level and everything you do down here to opening day and just try not to get off to a real quick start. Just take it one day at a time and do the best you can.
Chris Hoyles on his outlook for this upcoming 1997 campaign. We'll go to the top of the third. Hoyles DHing today, and Lenny Webster behind the plate. Scott Erickson looking at Frank Paul Santangelo, a little second baseman for Montreal, who swings from the left side, and he's ahead in the count 2-0. A little bit of a slow start for FP here in the Grapefruit League action. 2-1 now as he fouls it straight back.
It's been more like F8 instead of FP this spring for FP Santangelo.
Now, one of the young guys to kind of come out of obscurity in the Expo minor league chain and get a chance to play at the major league level. Erickson misses up. 3-1 now on Santangelo.
Whether you've had a great spring or a poor spring, in a couple of days it really won't matter. It'll be left here in Florida. Many times come September you ask him, what kind of spring did you have? They can't remember. It really is just to get the arms and legs in shape.
Scott Erickson lost Santangelo. That's the first base on balls that Erickson has relinquished today. So the leadoff man on against Scott Erickson here in the Expo third. We'll go back to the top and get Andy Stankiewicz. Stankiewicz has been busy, as we said, with the glove today, and Andy bounced out to his counterpart at short, Mike Bordick, in his first trip.
And the Orioles have shortened up around the infield. And as anticipated, a couple of throws to first base. Ray Miller has really taken over the responsibility for the stopping or slowing the running game. It's a great view of what Erickson sees.
There goes Santangelo on that attempted hit and run. Webster had to wait as Stankiewicz took a cut, and then Lenny had a little bit of trouble getting it out of that catcher's glove. Stolen base for FP Santangelo.
Well, they had it read right. They pitch out. But this swing seems to throw Lenny off a little bit. You can see a little bit of a snow cone. A little bit too high and too hard, sort of threw Lenny's rhythm off. It looks like a hit and run. You can see FP looking back to check the swing. So not a straight steal. I had a feeling something might be on. A couple of scoreless innings, trying to make something happen.
Erickson misses upstairs. 1-1 now on Andy Stankiewicz. It's the second stolen base of the year for FP Santangelo. He's in scoring position here in the third as the Expos look to break through against O's starter Scott Erickson. Erickson with a 1-1. Cut on and bang to the glove of Erickson. Now they've got Santangelo hung up. Ripken and Bordick with the chase. And Mike Bordick will put the tag on. Excellent job because they also helped to hold Andy Stankiewicz without advancing to second base, Mike.
Well, they did a nice job, actually. Scotty a little late giving the ball to Cal. I guess the way you teach is give it up quickly to that infielder. But FP gave him a funny read. He was a little bit too close to third. Give it up to Cal, the pitcher's responsibility. The lead base. One throw, nice tag, and as you alluded to, prevent the runner from advancing to second is the key part of this.
I'll look at the veterans and the baseball savvy on the left side of that infield. Cal Ripken and Mike Bordick for the Orioles. Just outside the bag at first off the bat of Doug Strange. Doug Strange with a base hit, his first time against Scott Erickson. Strange, as we talked about, no stranger to the American League, has spent a lot of years in the junior circuit in American League uniforms.
Cal and Bordick having a little conversation, I think, on strategy and how we're going to play. You see Cal way off the line. And you won't see many third basemen that far.
That Orioles defense about halfway up and bunched up. Strange with his second base hit of the afternoon. Another rope to right for a base hit. Stankiewicz is going to turn, and he'll cruise into third on the one-out base hit, his second of the day off the bat of Doug Strange.
Well, so far the common denominator among the hits and runners that Erickson has allowed is that they are left-handed. Doug Doug Strange with his second hit, left-handed. Orsolak had a base hit to left, left-handed. And F.P. Santangelo worked him for a walk.
Well, Scott Erickson now will try to extract himself from this potential Expos scoring situation here in the third, and he's got to deal with Rondell White, that sweet swinging center fielder of Felipe Alou. Orioles defense again in double play depth. White will bang it to the right side. Alomar is only going to have one play. Robbie with a flip to Rafael Palmeiro. So the RBI fielder's choice ground ball from the bat of Rondell White does his job, plating Andy Stankiewicz to get the Expos on the board first. Nothing Montreal, as we said, on the RBI from Rondell White. Here's David Segui. Now Strange at second with two down here in the Expos third. Erickson working to David Segui. Grabbed a little bit of that outside edge as Scott working away from Segui to even the count at 1-1.
Late breaking, biting sinker. One of the best in the game.
Well, if this young man could put the Septembers together for about 6 months, Mike, the Orioles might be looking at a 17-18 game winner.
Well, 21-8 in his career. 4-1 last year in September. It's the most innings in his career, 222 last year.
A no-hitter he threw for Minnesota. Milwaukee? I think it was Milwaukee. 94?
Yeah, he threw it in the Metrodome.
Right.
It's certainly not an easy place to throw one.
I'm sure he'd like to drop that ERA, though, above that 5 mark that it stood at in 1996.
Well, he really had a slow start, and came a long way to get it down that low.
The 1-2 to Segui. Oh, he just touched off a bomb. Don't even bother, Eric Davis. 2-run home run mammoth shot for David Segui. He jumped all over a Scott Erickson pitch inside, and he turned on it and crushed it pretty good.
That's one thing David Segui has developed. He was pretty much a singles doubles hitter when he was with the Orioles. He's added that new dimension of power to his arsenal. Again, Scotty today having problems with left-handed hitters. Ball starts off in. You just see him pull his hands in. Very powerfully built. Ball nearly clears the bleachers.
Henry Rodriguez will bounce it to the right of Robbie Alomar, who'll pick it, and that gets Scott Erickson done with the Expos here in the third, but not before the Spos put a 3 spot on the board. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Montreal 3-0 over the Birds. Birds fans, you can follow the O's on the road all season long by entering the Fly Southwest with the Birds sweepstakes, which do send a postcard to the particulars. The address you see on your screen. Stay tuned to see if you're a Fly Southwest winner.
Here's something that Ray Miller likes to see happen, a pitcher and catcher going over the last inning. What do you think about that pitch, or what were you thinking? Scotty wanted to know, I obviously didn't get that ball in enough. What he's saying is maybe we should add in a few more changes to left-handers.
Now we'll see if the Orioles can get something back for Scott Erickson. There's Tony Tarasco. Tony playing in the left field today. Tarasco, 273. He's pretty much been all over the outfield this spring, Mike, for Davey Johnson.
He's got a lot of playing time.
Take a look at that breaking pitch that found the strike zone. 1-1 now on Tony.
I mean, if Brady Anderson cannot go opening day, you can look for Tony Tarasco to be in that outfield. Left-handed bat, the first 2 starters against the Orioles, Apier and Rosado, both right-handed.
That's we were talking about again, the different ways that Davey can match up if he wants to go left-right in a lot of situations, or the other way around.
Right, and that's one of the things that, you know, with taking 13 pitchers north, somewhat limited in his depth, bench depth.
Tarasco bailing out on a couple of skips to the glove of Andy Stankiewicz, who will retire. Tony Tarasco leading off the O's third. Stankiewicz has been a very busy man. That's his fourth chance he's handled here through 2 1/3.
You really don't think of Perez as being a sinker baller either. Certainly not in the kind of sinker Scott Erickson has. Today, just keeping the ball down in the strike zone.
Here's Mike Bordick. Expos have made a couple of defensive changes. F.P. Santangelo has moved from second base to center field, and Steve Schillett now playing at second base. Bordick going to line a shot over the head of Schillett in right field. Now Mike Bordick, impressive. That's take the baseball the other way. Mike, I got to believe that you think that he's going to hit in that 2 spot when everybody gets back healthy, when Anderson and Alomar are with the club, or no?
I wouldn't think so. Certainly that there's days that he would, but I would see him down towards maybe the bottom of the order.
Okay.
But he's such a valuable asset. He can bunt, he can move runners, hits to all fields. It's some discussion. Robbie Alomar hitting 2 behind Brady Anderson. Got a lot of flexibility. You can interchange a number of these players and certainly build the case for each one. You could hit Alomar anywhere 1 through 4 for me.
And he did that on occasion last year, didn't he?
When they felt more RBIs, they moved him out of the 2 slot.
Wherever he hit, I know this, that bat of his was smoking, because in June he was still at 410.
It's not too bad, is it?
No. I think a lot of us would take that and run with it.
Had a team record for hits in April with 39. May he had 40.
Yeah. Robbie banging it outside the line, the third. Alomar, this is his 4th trip to the plate this spring. Mike was talking about his first start here in 1997. Oh, come on, young man. Come on.
Team effort.
Yeah.
Lift it up to me and I'll grab it. But you got to share it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's see you do that, Dad.
How are they going to divvy that up?
Now the battle really begins.
Alomar in the hole at 0-2. Perez with some chin music sitting Robbie down on that 0-2 pitch.
Draws a little reaction from the crowd. You see the target is up. Ball delivered way inside. We have another pitcher on his staff, Pedro Martinez, that's going to miss the first 7 games of the season for a beanball incident.
Oh, yeah, but he can bring it, too. Perez will check on Bordick with a 1-2. A miss downstairs. 2-2 now on the Oriole leadoff hitter, Roberto Alomar. Of course, from the baseball playing Alomar family. Brother Sandy, huh?
We can see that look in Robbie's eyes. It just went from a spring training game to a little bit more important at bat right here.
2-2 from Perez is going to go to first base, too.
And there was a game early in the season last year when Jim Abbott knocked Alomar down. Responded with a home run.
Hitter's revenge.
He's always said, you know, I don't mind someone knocking me down or making me move my feet, you know, really from the waist down. We start throwing at the head area.
Alomar with a line drive base hit to left. Robbie jumped all over that for his first base knock of the spring. Well, the O's in business now with 2 on and 1 down here in their half of the third.
Well, it's a fastball up in the middle of the plate, and I think Robbie just a little upset he didn't get under this ball, but hits a bullet into left field, and he'll lead the game at this point. Jeff Robillé will step in. But I'm sure he'll have some comment about the Perez pitch.
Here's Jeffrey Hammonds. Jeffrey with a chance to get some back for the Orioles now here in the third. Hammonds will foul it off the right side. Jeffrey with a base hit his first time, and if you're just joining us, we're talking about his sizzling spring that he's put together here in Florida. Extra base hits. Mike, 7 doubles, 5 home runs. Slugging percentage even loftier than Palmeiro's, 604. Jeffrey is 622.
Well, another opportunity here to drive in some more runs.
Hammond's just with a rocket down that line by the tarp in left. Doesn't seem to be fooled too much at all, does he?
Well, he's starting that bat a little sooner. We talked about it earlier. Looking for the ball in a specific area and committing to it.
Bordick at second, Jeff Rabelais at first, running for Robbie Alomar here in the third. Jeffrey Hammond just looked at one too many as Carlos Perez poured some gas over that inside edge.
He's been trying to pitch Hammonds in all afternoon. Finally gets one in a proper location. You see the target from Widger. See Perez's reaction. He certainly liked it. Jeffrey had a problem with it. To me, anytime you see a catcher move his glove, maybe an indication that the ball may have been a little inside. When they catch it and just frame it and do not move it, that to me is an indication of a strike.
So it'll be up to Rafael Palmeiro to pick something up with a rocket to right. Is it going to get down? Sliding grab by Sherman Urbando to rob Rafael Palmeiro. Rafi hit it on the nose, but Obando coming up with at least a run-saving play in right field. Orioles strand a couple. We're through 3. Expos 3-0 when we come back on HTS. HTS coverage of Orioles baseball is brought to you in part by Bell Atlantic, Next Mobile, the cellular leader. And by Discover Card, proud partner of the Smithsonian's 150th anniversary. And also by the National Capital Area Jeep Eagle Dealer. Fort Lauderdale Stadium, along with former Orioles Cy Young Award winner Mike Flanagan. I'm Michael Regag. Good to have you a part of it. We're through 3, going to the top of the 4th. Scott Erickson working to Sherman Urbando, who replaced Vladimir Guerrero back in the bottom of the 1st. And Jeff Rabelais, who ran for Roberto Alomar, now manning second base for Dave Johnson's defense. Erickson falling behind Obando at 3-0 here to start the 4th.
Well, Sherman's been classified as a dead fastball hitter out over the plate. See what Erickson does here.
No green light for Obando to look at that fastball for a called strike.
I guess the baseball truisms are coming back in. You make a great play in the outfield, which
you lead off the inning.
You lead off the inning. Even the game is getting ready for opening.
Yeah, you're all over it, Mike. Count runs full now as Obando spoils the Erickson delivery. Orioles, Scott Erickson gave up 3 in the top of the 3rd. 2 of them coming on the David Segui 2-run home run away.
I think well, you have to wonder, is the game getting ready for the game? Alomar gets knocked down 0-2 by a Carlos Perez pitch. Certainly one here in tight for Sherman Urbando.
So Sherman Urbando taking the shot from Scott Erickson. Tough way to get on to lead off the 4th. Orsulak with a rope that Palmeiro gloves with a diving stop, and he'll give to Erickson to retire Orsulak. Outstanding defensive move from Rafael Palmeiro with a dive to his right.
Well, Orsulak, being the veteran hitter that he is, trying to take advantage of that whole first base side, but Palmeiro makes a terrific play. So it rolls right over the ball. Erickson hustling over.
Rafael flashing the form here in March that makes him one of what you just saw there, one of the finest fielding first basemen in the game. It moved Obando into scoring position. Erickson with that slider on the outside edge, starting Chris Widger with that called strike. was talking about Scott's longest stint of the spring, the 6 innings last Sunday against Atlanta. A breaking pitch that missed in, even that count now to 1-1 on Chris Widger. Erickson trying to prevent more damage here in the 4th. Fouled at the plate, 1-2 now on the Montreal catcher. Looking forward tomorrow to seeing Tony La Russa's National League Central Division winners last year, Mike. Those St. Louis Cardinals, birds against birds.
Yep, Tony, a longtime American League manager, certainly, with the White Sox. We go back, I guess, to 83 playoffs with Tony. A number of years with the Oakland A's. Still has a very much veteran ball club over there in St. Louis. Dennis Eckersley still chugging along.
Gary Gaetti.
Honeycutt, I think.
Yep.
Tony Fossis. He likes the veterans.
He's always, I was just going to say, he's always struck me as the kind of guy that if you put him on a young club that was on its way up, you don't know how it'd play. You don't know how it'd mix. But with the veterans, he's been superb. Did he go? Yeah, he did. Home plate umpire Ron Culpa tells Chris Widger you went too far. Scott Erickson ringing up Widger here for the second out here in the Expos 4th.
Well, his go-to pitch for a strikeout today has been that slider. Late breaking down in the zone. Not much Widger could do with this. You can see Webster congratulating him on that pitch.
Strikeout number 3 in the afternoon for Scott Erickson. Number 9 hitter, F.P. Santangelo, started at second base today, moved to center field in the 3rd, replacing Rondell White.
He really started that whole mess last inning.
He did.
With a leadoff walk.
Another of our baseball axioms, huh?
We're getting ready to. You know, we're going to get used to this.
Grabbed a little bit of the inside corner, did Scott Erickson. He's ahead 0-2 now on little F.P. Santangelo. O's defense positioning themselves straight up on medium depth against Santangelo. Erickson ready for the 0-2. Breaking pitch on a couple of skips to the glove of Rafi. He'll handle it himself, and that'll get Scott Erickson out of the 4th. We'll go to the O's half of the 4th. Still 3-0 Montreal. To know that Camden Yards is the place to be in the month of April when the O's battle KC Royals, Texas Rangers, Minnesota Twins, Chicago White Sox, and Boston Red Sox. Tickets are now available at the Orioles box office, any Ticketmaster location, or call 410-481-SEAT or 202-432-SEAT or 703-573-SEAT. Orioles baseball, there's nothing like a day at the Yard.
Well, a little conversation going on between innings, and what we've also noticed is that Scott Kamenicki is up and throwing. So I think if Scotty can get ready, he may be in the ballgame. Erickson originally scheduled for 6 or 7. I'm not sure really what's going on. See Ray Miller down there with Messina, watching with interest.
Eric Davis, O's right fielder. You get a look at Ray Miller on the right of your screen. Eric Davis leading off the O's 4th ED via the Cincinnati Reds. Sensational spring. 0 for 1 here this afternoon. Davis popped it up into the middle of the diamond. Doug Strange takes charge to glove it for out number 1 here in the 4th. Now, Mike, she said yes, I believe, the couple from Maryland.
Obviously very touched by the moment. A little more than getaway day for them.
Well, you got that right. Here's Cal Ripken. Cal fly to right field. Leading off the O's second. Looks at a Carlos Perez heater on the outside corner. Ripken came in today with 5 extra base hits amongst his 344 work at the plate here in the grapefruit season. Ripken jam. David Segui is going to handle it in foul territory for the second out here in the Birds' fourth. Carlos Perez has got it in cruise control right now. Mike, you know, we're talking about how enthusiastic and animated he is on the mound. Some of it takes me back about 20 years, not quite as demonstrative, but Mark the Bird Fidrich, who basically set baseball on its ear with all his antics on the mound for his stay in Detroit.
A unique character. They don't come along too often.
Chris Hoyles looking at that fastball that cut the heart of the plate. Hoyles, Oriole DH today. Chris bounced out to Andy Stankiewicz back in the second. We're in the fourth. Montreal with the 3 spot against Scott Erickson in the third to hold this 3-0 lead. Hoyles with a shot between Strange and Stankiewicz. Base hit for Chris.
Well, he's been on cruise control, but has allowed a hit in every inning but the second. There's only 1, 2, 3 inning.
Chris Hoyles with that 2-out base hit here in the fourth against Carlos Perez. Here's Oriole catcher today, Lenny Webster.
What Perez has done nicely today, I guess, is getting the ball in on the right-handers.
Perez working out of the stretch. Segui play behind the not much of a threat to steal Chris Hoyles. Fourth Oriole hit, that base knock by Hoyles, but they haven't been able to string anything together here today against Carlos Perez. 1-0 coming to Webster. Lenny will bounce it on a couple of skips to the glove of Steve Schillett, and that's going to do it in the O's fourth. So again, the O's go quietly, except for the Hoyles base hit. We'll go to inning number 5, 3-0 Montreal. Pre-game party, as you know, at Camden Yards is an absolutely fantastic way to start off any Orioles contest. Now, the Orioles party facilities offer a variety of options for all of your entertainment needs, and that includes game tickets. That's right, game tickets. Book your party today by calling area code 410-685-9800 for more details. Davey Johnson making a change on the mound, Mike. Right-hander Scott Kamenicki now to work in relief of Scott Erickson.
Well, as far as we know, this is an unscheduled appearance by Kamenicki. We were told before the game that Scotty would pitch 6, maybe 7, and Randy Myers would pitch for sure today. We'll have to wait for an official report, I guess, on Scotty Erickson. But Kamenicki's had a good spring. He's impressed a lot of people. He's coming off of surgery on his elbow where he had some bone chips and spurs removed. That's some pretty good years for the Yankees. Moving sinker, above average curveball, straight change. You can throw any time in the count. One of those pitchers you put in the category of knows how to pitch. Roscoe, Coffinger, Sean Bosky had a good spring. Alan Mills. Casino with a little facial growth for getaway day.
I think Mike will have that in his opening day start on Tuesday.
Well, they all have this sort of game day look. You know,
yeah.
The tune-up is over. You know, I mean, that's the reality of the situation. Is there's no more practice games, and that bell will ring Tuesday. Everything goes back to 0-0.
Going to go to the top of Philippe Allou's hitting lineup here in the 5th against Scott Kamenicki. Andy Stankiewicz will lead it off. The shortstop.
This is the 8th time these two clubs have met. The Orioles with a 5-2 record. They will play the Expos during the season at Camden Yards in June.
Went too far, did Andy Stankiewicz. Count even now, 1-1. So since it's the 8th time these two clubs met, I must ask you, is your French pretty much perfect now by the time we leave?
No. My English isn't too good.
Mike, disappointing me. That breaking pitch bounced by Kamenicki. Rebele on the gallop. Got him by a half step. Jeff Rebele on the pick and the retire of Andy Stankiewicz.
thing certainly every day he's in there. Played a solid second base, can play shortstop, play the outfield, he can even catch for you. One of the Terry Crowley trained players from the Minnesota Twins.
Valuable man to have around, Jeff Rabelais.
When you consider he may be the only, I guess, legitimate utility infield that the Orioles will have. Figured last year when they broke camp they had three. They had Manny Alexander, Billy Ripken, and Jeff Hewson. So B.J. Surhoff can come in and has even played a game at second base.
Been tough to get Doug Strange out today. Scott Kamenicki will try. Scott Erickson, no success. 2 line drive base hits off the stick of Strange. And he rode home ahead of that David Segui 2-run homer back in the 3rd. Strange will turn on it, drill it deep, but fading foul down the line in right. Expos in here at 10 up and 14 down, and Felipe Alou was saying before the game, Mike, that although you know he's a young ball club and played a lot of people, but that hitting average for the Expos only at about 250. Let's see if Webster has room. Lenny on the go. Terrific sliding grab by Lenny Webster.
Philippe saying he kicked up all that dirt on me too. This is a nice play by Lenny Webster. He's getting no help from the Montreal players. Barely getting out of the way. Lenny sizing it up, taking a peek over there, see just what he had to go through.
Expos didn't bail out to the very last second, not helping Webster at all. Well, Kamenicki has waded through Stankiewicz and Strange, and now here's the second baseman, Steve Schiller. Schiller came in hitting in Rondell White's spot after Santangelo was moved from second base to center field. Kamenicki pulling the string, going off speed to even the count at 1-1. All right, so we'll correct ourselves. Torey Lovullo hitting now. Well, Lovullo has also been a guy who's bounced around a little bit.
I remember when he first came up with the Tigers,
Sparky Anderson anointed him as
the can't miss label.
Yeah, anointed him as a can't miss guy. Don't get me started on listing all those guys. Chris Pitaro, Jim Whale-Wander.
Oh,
they were all can't miss prospects. Moved Lou Whitaker to third base in spring training so that Lovullo could be the guy at second base. Didn't last long, Mike.
No, it didn't. Whitaker-Trammell duo played together for about 18, 19 years.
That lasted. The Torey Lovullo experiment, unfortunately for Torey, never caught on in Detroit. Full count pitch. Lovullo with a bouncing ball to the right of Rafael Palmeiro. He'll go to Kamenicki, and that's going to do it here in the Expo 5th. We've gone halfway. Kamenicki strong in his first inning of work. 3-0 Montreal. Michael Regai alongside the former Orioles Cy Young Award winner Mike Flanagan. Orioles trying to do some work with the sticks now as they've fallen behind Montreal 3-0. Carlos Perez has been pretty much in control. He's scattered 4 base hits. Tony Tarasco to lead it off. Tarasco looks at that breaking pitch to fall behind in the count at 0-1. Bounced out his first time against Perez. 0-2 now on Tony as he fouls it straight back. Warming up in the Montreal bullpen is Anthony Telford.
Another of the
former Oriole too, huh? We're going to have to.
We got a count of this.
We need something to help us out a little bit up here electronically. Carlos Perez. Mike told you back in the first inning, the Perez name very familiar around pitching circles in Major League Baseball. Pasquale did some time, his brother, with Montreal, as well as the New York Yankees and Atlanta Braves. Just missed. Carlos said, where is that? couldn't find that outside corner, according to home plate umpire Ron Kolpa. Two from Perez to Tarasco, ripped hard to the right of Stankiewicz. He's going to come up gunning. Nice play. Andy Stankiewicz to retire Tony Tarasco. So Tarasco retired 6-3 here to start the Orioles fifth. There's Mike Bordick. Bordick had a base hit going the other way, his first time to the plate this afternoon. I think all you Orioles fans are going to like Mike Bordick when he comes to Camden Yards. Just a savvy baseball veteran. Mike, arguably, a lot of guys say this is the best fielding shortstop in Major League Baseball.
He certainly handles, I think, almost he didn't the most chances in the league at shortstop. Very steady. Sure-handed, strong throwing arm. We received report from Scotty Erickson from Bill Stetka. A slight groin pull. They say nothing serious, or as they said, no big deal. I don't know what different category that falls into. There's Randy back from the duck hunt.
He was in the blind today? Somewhere? Where? Where alligators roam around here in South Florida?
You can actually tell when Randy's going to work because that is his sort of pregame attire.
I see.
Falls into that unique category of closer.
Yes.
A little on the eccentric side.
Kind of do things their own way occasionally.
Had a lot of success doing it.
2-2 to Bordick. Skied into the middle of the diamond. Stankiewicz swings. It'll be Andy Stankiewicz to take charge. 2 gone here in the Orioles fifth. Mike Flanagan type headgear there for as we approach Easter Sunday. I want to see you put that on tomorrow, partner.
It's a little tight on me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It enhances the height, though, a little bit. You know, you get, what, extra 6 inches there?
I think that's a 7 9/7.
Jeff Rabelais, first trip to the plate today for the Oriole utility man. Robbie Alomar started today. Robbie, he got a couple of trips to the plate, banged out a base hit off Carlos Perez his last time. Lifted behind the plate. Widger's going to have room. Threw the mask off. Squeezed it. Orioles are done quietly and quickly. We've gone through 5. Montreal leading the Birds 3-0. We know you love night baseball. Opening night at Camden Yards Thursday, April 3rd, when the O's take on Bob Boone's Kansas City Royals at 7:35. A lot of good tickets still available at the O's box office, any Ticketmaster location, or calling all of the numbers that you see on your screen. Orioles baseball, there's just nothing like a day at the Yard. We move to the 6th. David Segui, who has authored the loudest bomb of this day, the mammoth 2-run blast that he touched Scott Erickson up with back in the 3rd. Former Oriole doing some damage against a few of his buddies still remain on this club from when David was here, Mike.
Oh, yeah. He was stuck behind Glenn Davis at first base for a couple of seasons. Went on to Montreal, where he's had a chance to learn the ropes. Always a good hitter, but was really an opposite field hitter from both sides of the plate. Certainly, as he exhibited early in this game, has developed the power side.
Kamenicki misses up 2-1 now on David Segui.
As he changed his hitting style since he's went over to Montreal. Now he's a lot of motion at the plate. He used to be locked in, legs still, hands still.
Did you ever think when he was in the O's organization that he had the potential to develop into a power hitter?
Well, you could see that he was certainly going to be big enough.
Comebacker finds the leather of Scott Kamenicki. David Segui banged it hard, but retired here to lead off the Expos 6th. Henry Rodriguez, if you weren't with us at the top, as O. Henry, as they call him up in Montreal, was just the absolute rage of Major League Baseball last year with his prolific ability to hit home runs. What they threw the O. Henry bars.
He put on about 15 pounds because of that, and no, that didn't happen.
No, so that's why he had 25 home runs at the break and wound up with 36 dings.
That's right.
Okay.
That's the inside scoop.
Now, that's a pitcher talking, is what it is. See, always looking for an edge against these big swings.
Whatever you can get. Whatever you can get.
Oh, my. He just delivered a bomb to deep right. Davis with a leap. Eric up against the wall to make the play on Henry Rodriguez. It looked like it was going to be out of here real quickly. They got it off the end of the bat and just kind of floated.
Davis did his job getting back quickly. He can turn his back and chase it down. There is maybe not as much a breeze as we've had here all spring, but usually in from right field. Rodriguez thought he had it. Took that sort of wide turn that he's famous for out of the batter's box.
Here's the former O, Sherman Obando. Obando came in replacing Vladimir Guerrero after Guerrero left after fouling a pitch off his foot back in the first inning. Breaking pitch from Kamenicki stays up. 1-1 now on Obando. We are in the sixth. It's 3-0 Orioles, or excuse me, 3-0 Expos, as David Segui, the man who has put the most damage into the Baltimore pitching staff here this afternoon. Kelly Gruber now playing third base, replacing Cal Ripken there. So Gruber, Bordick, Rebelay, and Palmero around Davy Johnson's infield. 2-1 coming from Kamenicki to Obando. 2-2 now, make it 3-1 now on a right-handed hitting right fielder from Montreal. Count runs full as Obando bangs it at the plate. Kamenicki, Mike, is one of those guys in a long line out of the University of Michigan stable. Former pitchers there, Major League pitchers, Steve Howe, Larry Sorensen. He played with Barry Larkin and Chris Sabo and that whole bunch in Ann Arbor. A lot of them wound up with pretty good Major League careers.
Well, they've developed some fine ones.
Rick Leach, another teammate, former Detroit Tiger and Toronto Blue Jay. On the outside corner, Kamenicki got Obando looking and rung him up to end the Expos 6. We've gone through 5.5. Birds down 3 to Montreal. Time to take a look at our SK scoreboard. Let's talk a little bit of hoop. Hey, the Bullets last night, they won for the 7th time in their last 9. Chris Webber, Juwan Howard combined for 46 points. They blew out Toronto at US Air, and they're now just a game behind the Cleveland Cavs, Mike, because the Miami Heat beat the Cavaliers by 4 down in the Miami Arena. They had a 29-point lead, but they held on at the end against Mike Fratello's club. Well, the Bullets 1 game back of Cleveland for that 8th and final Eastern Conference playoff slot.
How come you know so much about that?
Oh, I'm a big fan. Just
big fan?
Checked the paper today. Yeah, looked at the paper today.
I heard rumor you were going down by that game.
By that game, I was. Yeah, we're there last night working it on the Cleveland Cavs television side. And, yeah, the Cavs were 29 down, and they came back and made it close against Riley's bunch, but didn't get over the hump. Here's Jeffrey Hammonds leading off the Orioles 6. Andy Stankiewicz now has moved to second base. There's Andy, who's been extremely busy all day long with the glove work behind Carlos Perez and Anthony Telford, another former Oriole, as Mike talked about, now on the mound for Felipe Alou. Hammonds with a rocket just outside the bag at third. Oh, Jeffrey had something started down that line that could have been extra bases had it stayed fair.
And that's what we've seen from Jeffrey today. Even the foul balls, he's getting the bat head out. Earlier in the spring, he was tardy on a lot of the pitches. And certainly the last couple of days, he's been right on everything.
Hammonds leading off the Orioles 6. Jeffrey Hammond's looking at that heater on the outside corner from Telford. 2-2 now.
Telford battling for one of the last spots in that Montreal bullpen.
Jeffrey will spoil that breaking ball from Telford to stay alive.
Telford has a wide assortment of pitches: fastball, curveball, slider, and change. And a starter most of certainly his minor league career.
Jeffrey Hammonds, one of the finest athletes on this Oriole club. Hammonds with a shot. Deep left center field. See you later. Jeffrey Hammonds has gone deep. The solo blast for Hammonds as he continues to swing the real hot stick this spring. Big blast number 6 in Grapefruit League play for Jeffrey Hammonds to get the O's on the board here in the 6th.
Well, he's doing it with power. It's like a straight changeup from Telford, ends up low middle. You just see Jeffrey with perfect mechanics, head down, right on it. Took no time to get out of here.
Well, Hammonds goes deep with his 6th home run blast here of the spring to cut this O's deficit now back to 2 at 3-1. It was one of those that you knew he got all over it.
It sounded right.
Mm-hmm. Not music to your ears, though.
No.
You heard a few of
I don't mind it up here.
Up here?
Yeah. Right, yeah.
But not when you were the one doing the delivering, huh?
Yeah, I could tell. I didn't have to look. You know, you learn. You can estimate that distance quite easily from the mound after a period of time.
See if Rafi's got the green light. 3-0. Missed upstairs. Base on balls for Rafael Palmeiro. Rafi had a couple of line drives that turned into outs in his first 2 trips to the plate. Well, Dave Johnson now with a chance to get something manufactured on the base pass, on the free pass to Rafael Palmeiro. Jerome Walton is going to be sent out to run for Rafael, so Palmeiro's duty on this final game in Fort Lauderdale done for the day.
Get to go in, take a shower, get ready to catch that charter.
Here's Eric Davis, ED, the O's right fielder today. Eric bounced out his first time and popped out back in the 4th. Jeffrey Hammonds led it off with that monstrous home run bomb. And the walk to Palmeiro. Davis looks at a called strike from Anthony Telford. Mike, you got a herniated disc in the neck. I mean, everybody thought that ED was done, and he comes back and just tries to make a ball club last year in Cincinnati. And I mean, 26 home runs, 83 RBI. Nobody thought it would be possible for him to resume like that.
Well, I guess you have to feel he'll even be better than that. But I think what he came back and he's admitted is that maybe a new attitude on playing the game. Really enjoys it now after sitting out a full season. He really has been a pleasure to be around all spring, emerging as one of the clubhouse leaders.
Long-time Major League veteran Eric Davis waiting the 0-2. Davis will sky it down the line in right, fading foul, and going to fall safely down in that O's bullpen. Had so many productive years in Cincinnati, of course, part of the World Championship Club. Beat Oakland in that clean sweep. His style at the plate, too, Mike, carrying those hands low around the waist, and yet I'm just so amazed at the way it's almost like that Dick Allen buggy whip that Dick Allen used to have.
I know he'd scare me if I was on the mound. He just sort of uncoils. It appears that he's going to be taking the pitch. He lifts that front leg. I know Rick Dowd has been working with ED on that to keep his balance back and his head still.
When you look at a guy that carries the hands low like that, you as a pitcher, was there any pattern that you felt you could be successful with against this particular style of hitting?
For me, I wanted to be careful. I didn't like guys like this. I pick my spots.
Generates tremendous power at the plate.
Into all fields, which makes him a difficult hitter. He still runs extremely well. So he's dangerous. You don't really want to walk him.
He's hitting with nobody out, and Jerome Walton at first here in the O's half of the sixth. Breaking pitch sharply to the glove of Strange at third. They'll turn it over. A 5-4-3 double play ground ball. Davis hit it sharply, and Doug Strange was able to turn it over around the diamond.
Well, Telford left the breaking ball up, and he hits it on the button. It's the only way they can turn to, and at that, it was a very close play at first. He'll have a lot of third-base basemen playing deep this year.
There's Kelly Gruber stepping in for his first plate appearance today. Gruber still wondering, one of those guys, Mike, on the bubble, what his destination is going to be. Rips a rope by Anthony Telford into center field for a base hit. Professional hitter is Kelly Gruber, huh?
The last 10 days or so has been more like the old Kelly Gruber. I mean, the Orioles certainly are not going to give up on Kelly. Started extremely slow, but when you think that, you know, he really hadn't played ball the last 3 years at all. I mean, I played a couple of years with Kelly up in Toronto, and just an outstanding player, a multi-tool player. Hit for power, hit for average, steal a base. Natural third baseman. So they're hoping another 100 at-bats maybe down in the minor leagues. He'll be back.
So Gruber with that two-out base hit. Here's Chris Hoyles. He will swing through the Telford heater up in the zone. Chris has had the base hit in 2 plate appearances here this afternoon. The lead at first. Telford out of the stretch. And breaking pitch didn't. Chris Hoyles turned the back, took the plunge. Got hit by that pitch. Well, if you're going to get hit, that's the soft one that you, as a hitter, like to take that one.
Right, and both sides know this is a mistake, and certainly no intent involved here on Telford's part. Just a breaking ball that slips. And it's Chris right off the 2.
Hit by the pitch from Anthony Telford.
You'd have to say so far Telford has been very fortunate with the way this inning has gone. If not for the bullet double play hit by Eric Davis, certainly would be in more hot water.
2 on now for Lenny Webster. Webster looks at that slider that grabs the outside corner. 0-1 on the O's catcher. Lenny 0 for 2 on the day. He's bounced out a couple of times against Expos starter Carlos Perez in his first 2 plate appearances. Awaits the 0-1. Line drive left field. Going to get down, base hit. Here comes Gruber rounding to touch in. Hoyles will steam into third on the RBI base knock off the bat of Lenny Webster. Cuts the O's deficit now down to 1 at 3-2.
Oh, pitch in the middle of the plate from Telford, and Webster all over it. A nice level swing from Lenny. Drills it into the alley.
Have done this run producing damage after 2 were down. Jeffrey Hammond started this inning with a solo shot to get the O's on the board. And the O's manufacture this run, as Mike said. Without Eric Davis's hard-stung double play ball, they'd possibly have this one tied up and maybe have the lead.
Let's put it this way, there hasn't been a ball hit easy yet.
Tony Tarasco looking for his first base hit of the afternoon. Tony, the versatile left-handed swinger. Runners at the corners for Tarasco. And he is ahead in the count now at 2-0 against Anthony Telford. Wes Hoyles at third, Lenny Webster at first. Seeing if Tarasco can deliver them by jumping all over something. 3-0 now on Tony Tarasco.
Well, see if he gets the green light. Telford obviously struggling with his command. I would assume Tony has it with a right-handed hitter on deck. So Tony should be leaning back.
The 3-0. They gave Tarasco the green light. Now let's see if Doug Strange has room. Fades foul along the left side to keep Tarasco alive. Orioles have banged out 7 base hits this afternoon, and they have put 3 of those together along with a free pass. Say Hoyles being hit by the pitch here in the 6th.
Well, with that offensive squad they had last year, banging out 257 home runs, big innings came frequently.
The 3-1 to Tarasco. Telford lost him below the bases. Now the base is loaded now for Orioles shortstop Mike Bordick, as Yugut Urbina gets up to throw, and I hope that first name pronunciation is right. Mike, help me out now.
You're on your own on his.
For the Orioles now, checking in to run is Mike Johnson. That right-handed hurler that works out of Dave Johnson's bullpen. So it'll be Johnson running for Lenny Webster at second base.
Interesting move.
We'll see that during the regular season at all.
Well, as short as the bench is, they were saying today, if I have a couple of players ejected and someone goes down, you may see Mussina at right and Mills at second.
Bordick will drive it in the air to center field. F.P. Santangelo is going to squeeze it, and that'll put a halt to the Birds rally. We have gone 2/3 of the way. We're through 6. Orioles get a couple. 3-2 Montreal on HTS. What do you say we call it the Interleague Battle of the Birds? It's scheduled for tomorrow, Easter Sunday at Camden Yards. That's when the O's take on the St. Louis Cardinals. It'll be the spring's final preseason tune-up. Good tickets remain for the 305 contest at the Orioles box office, all Ticketmaster locations, or by calling the 3 numbers that you see on your screen. Orioles baseball, you know there's nothing like a day at the Yard. Chris Gresham has gone into right field for Davy Johnson, so Eric Davis's work today is done, and Tim Laker, the former Expo Mike, is behind the plate. Catching now Scott Kamenicki.
Yeah, we got a few Expos. Chris Gresham in right, normally a catcher. Played a little second base yesterday.
Joe Ursulak got jammed. Kamenicki is going to take the toss from the Birds' Jerome Walton, who has moved in and now grabbed the first baseman's glove, and going to work over there behind Rafael Palmeiro today. So Kamenicki has been pretty impressive since he's taken over for Scott Erickson.
Retired all 7.
Now he looks at catcher Chris Widger. Just joining us this afternoon, we were talking about Widger, one of the top prospects in the Seattle Mariners chain before he came over here in the deal that sent Jeff Fassero to Seattle. What do you think about that pitching staff out there, Mike? If the big unit stays alive, Randy Johnson and Fassero, and
well, certainly much improved. If they get a healthy Randy Johnson back, I think they'd even take 3/4 of a full Johnson.
Where was that, says Scott Kamenicki. Heated up pretty good.
Mondo Benitez starting to loosen up.
2-1 from Kamenicki to Widger. Pulled the string, had him way out in front to run us even at 2-2.
Kamenicki doesn't really allow the hitters to swing to the count. By that I mean Widger's ahead 2-1, normally a fastball count. Kamenicki gets that sharp breaking ball over.
Coming our way. Back on the screen as Widger will spoil the Kamenicki offering. What about the AL East? Well, we got a second. Everybody's talking Toronto by adding Clemens to Henkin and Guzman and that staff there. Do you think that the Jays have improved themselves?
Well, they're going to, take a lot of innings off the books, but I'm not quite convinced their offense is strong enough, or maybe their team defense. Their bullpen should be pretty good. I think the Orioles' strength is in their bullpen. I think their team defense will be much better than last year.
Gruber going to charge, short hop, and gonna cross to retire Chris Widger. The play by Kelly, taking that short hop and gunning to Jerome Walton. That's 2 gone for Scott Kamenicki, who has retired 8 straight.
On short notice.
Sometimes that's better, huh?
For me, yeah. When I went to the bullpen, I didn't want to know till late. The phone rings, get up. But I did like pitching out of the bullpen. The chance he had to pitch, you could be in every ball game, or most every ball game.
Number 9 hitter, Frank Paul Santangelo. FP started at second base today and moved out to center field, replacing Rondell White early in the contest. That's what Kamenicki's offering upstairs. 2-0 now on Santangelo. Bangs the 2-0 pitch inside that bag and down the line and right. Santangelo will make the turn. Gresham coming up firing. Santangelo slides in with that 2-base hit. First base knock off Scott Kamenicki today in his 2 2/3 innings of work.
That's a straight changeup. A little bit too much of the plate, maybe up a little bit, but FP rolls over, but is able to keep it fair, just fair, inside the line.
So Santangelo with the 2-out double to keep Philippe Ballou's offense alive here in the 7th. We'll go to the top now, the Expos hitting order, and get Andy Stankiewicz. Stankiewicz started at shortstop today, moved over to second base.
I think the only 3 left in the Oriole original starting lineup is Bordick, Carrasco, and Hammond.
Laker took a look at Santangelo, who wasn't on the move. 1-1 now, the count on Andy Stankiewicz. Expos over 500 last year. Philippe Ballou with one of the youngest clubs in baseball. He's trying to do the same thing. That breaking pitch up, and Stankiewicz fouled it on the right side.
I think the Expos had a pretty amazing year when you realize they were 88-74, the exact record the Orioles had.
I want to say the second youngest club in baseball. I know they've only got 4 players on this roster right now, the 40-man, the winter roster, that are over 30 years of age. So Philippe Ballou, I think he's going to do some educating this year on the job, huh?
He's doing a lot of teaching.
1-2 from Kamenicki. Make it 2-2 now as Stankiewicz looked that fastball away.
To Philippe's credit, he has a great lifetime record already, 392 and 315. He is considered one of the best motivators in the game.
Santangelo with the lead at second, the 2-2 from Kamenicki. Banged on the ground, a couple of skips to the right of Rebele. Got to come up firing. Jerome Walton with a pick to retire Andy Stankiewicz. Rebele strong to his right. Walton made sure he secured it. Gets Scott Kamenicki out of the 7th. Get up and stretch it out, those fans. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Montreal by 1 over the Birds. Baseball going on here. The final spring tune-up in Florida for the Baltimore Orioles, along with our producer-director Chris Glass and Mike Flanagan. I'm Michael Regai and all of the HTS crew, bringing it to you to your enjoyment, we certainly hope, out of Fort Lauderdale today. O's bounce back with 2 in the 6th to cut this deficit to 1. Jeff Rebele, first pitch swinging here in the 7th. Skies it to Doug Strange, who will handle it in fair territory for the first out here in the 7th against Ugue Urbina. And apologies to the Urbina family if that's not right on the money. Ugue T.H. Urbina, the last name. Tell me about him. Go ahead.
Well, he really came out of nowhere to be the setup man in that Montreal bullpen last year for Rojas. Did a nice job. Ended up 10-5. Started a few games for the Expos.
Looks like he's got a little giddy up, too, on that fastball, huh? Here's Jeffrey Hammonds. Jeffrey with a couple of base knocks today in 3 trips. That very, very monstrous solo shot last time. Urbina is going to get Hammonds as he, too, will sky it into the middle of the diamond. Hiram Obochika to handle it. Now playing shortstop. Cal Ripken, Mike Mussina. Is Cal going to have growth like Mussina for opening day?
It'll be a little stubble. I'm sure they'll all go in and shave after the ball game. Sort of a hectic day around here, dropping off rent-a-cars, packing up to go, making arrangements on the other end.
Speaking of Mike Mussina, too, Davey Johnson has set his regular season rotation to begin 1997. Mussina is going to get Kevin Apier on opening day. And then Jimmy Key will go against Jose Rosado in Camden Yards. Then it's on to Texas. Scott Erickson, Rocky Coppinger, and then right back with Mike Mussina. So the 5th spot will be skipped in that first week of play.
That's right. Yeah, Sean Bosky will come in after Mussina's second start.
Thinking there is to get Mike 2 and try to get him off early before you go to that 5th spot in the rotation?
Well, I think you want to keep Mussina on his day. You know, that's the difficulty in being that 5th starter. You're the one that usually bounces around. He has had a lot of success over the years pitching on that 5th day.
Jerome Walton in an 0-2 hole, and he looks at one too many. A punch-out victim from Uguth Urbina. We have gone through 7. Urbina retires the Birds in order. Still 3-2 Montreal. HTS coverage of Orioles baseball brought to you by Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages, where people go to buy, find, or do just about anything. And by your Subaru dealer, who invites you to come in and experience the beauty of all-wheel drive. And also by Montgomery Ward, where you'll find great brands at great prices. Let's go to the 8th in Fort Lauderdale. 3-5-0 Montreal, 2-7-0 for the Birds of Baltimore, as Doug Strange will start it off against Mike Armando Benitez, who has had a pretty strong month of March.
Outstanding would be a pretty good word for the way he's thrown. A little concerned last time out. He tends to rush his delivery, drop his elbow, and really expose that elbow. He had a lot of problems with it last year.
Strange on a couple of skips to the glove of Jeff Reveille. Benitez will retire Strange to start the Montreal 8th.
So what Ray Miller has figured out to sort of correct that is to take a slow first step. We'll have to keep an eye and see if Armando is doing that. He takes that quick step, the ball tends to be up in the strike zone. See some impressive numbers there from Armando. Much more mature young man than he was a couple of years ago.
This is Torey Lovullo hitting for the 2nd time in the contest. Lovullo came in mid-innings as a replacement for manager Philippe Alou. I know this, if Armando doesn't make one bad pitch last year in Jacobs Field, it's a sweep of the Cleveland Indians. Albert Bell, of course, touching him up for that grand slam home run in the 7th in Game 3.
They still ended up with 2 wins in postseason. Feels he's learned a lot from that experience.
Well, he came right back in Game 4 on Saturday and got the job done.
And that's what they like so much about him. Whereas a couple of years ago, that poor outing would have affected his next day. They don't see that happening anymore.
Benitez ready to bring the 2-1 to Lovullo. Make it 2-2 now as Armando working that outside edge with Tim Laker.
That was close.
Good hands.
You have good hands.
I'm getting old.
I'm impressed.
I still got the good hands.
I just try to block everything up here.
Do you?
Yeah, we almost lost our scorecards up here.
Yes.
Gust of wind.
Benitez went with a breaking pitch 2-2. Make it full now, 3-2 on Torey Lovullo. Lost him, did Benitez. Missed with that fastball down, so Lavulo draws the 2-out free pass from Armando Benitez, excuse me, the 1-out free pass here in the 8th.
Ray Miller with that clicker in his left hand, keeping track of the number of pitches thrown. See the baffle even checking. How many's he got?
Enough to get the job done, right?
Well, throws him hard enough.
This is Hiram Boca Chica at the plate. Boca Chica, one of the young fellas that this Montreal organization continues to try to cultivate on their way to the big leagues. Hold by night. Benitez just missing there, going 2-0 now on Boca Chica. 3-2 Montreal. We are in the top of the 8th in Fort Lauderdale. So pleased to have you along. Hope you're enjoying your Easter holiday weekend, and we'll be right back at it on HTS for you out of Camden Yards tomorrow afternoon at 3:05 first pitch time, and the very last preseason tune-up of 97. Lavulo with the lead. Benitez ready to go at 2-0. He's going to go instead to drive Lavulo back.
I think Ray Miller sensing good situation to run. Mondo usually around the plate.
Gruber at third, Bordick at short, Rebelay at second, Walton at first around Davy Johnson's infield. Tim Laker handling the catching chores right now. Tony Tarasco and Jeffrey Hammonds and Chris Gresham. Well, Mike, as you said, it's what, Tarasco and Hammonds and Bordick, and that's it from the original starters today. Pouring that fastball, some good heat on the inside that Boca Chica looked at. Count 2-1 now on the Expo shortstop. Looking for his first base hit of the spring. Had a good rip at it. Fouled it straight back. 2-2 now on Boca Chica. Let's continue going. You talked about Toronto in the American League East. Talked to a few people the other day that said, watch out for Boston. It doesn't look like they've got the pitching situation squared away, but if Shane Mack returns and does what they expect him to do, that Reggie Jefferson and, of course, the hit dog Mo Vaughn, that club could cause some noise.
Well, they're still going to have a good offensive club. I'm not really sure if their pitching can compete with some of the rest in the league. You know, the Yankees had another great spring. I thought they wouldn't quite be the club they were last year, losing John Wetland to Texas Rangers. Seemed to be the only controversy in that camp was Cecil Fielder. Right. But they're going to have a good club again. It just remains to be seen if Mariano Rivera can handle the closer role and who are you going to use to get to him.
Well, here's my thought on this, and you correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Rivera is going to be the problem. I think he'll handle that. It's just will Graham Lloyd and David Weathers and Jeff Nelson and everybody be able to do in concert what Rivera did?
That's right. Who's going to replace Rivera? Never mind Wetland.
Yeah. 3-2 now as Boca Chica looked at the Benitez offering inside.
And taking nothing away from Rivera, when you see good setup men, they still know that closer is behind them. It's a lot different when you wear those shoes and there's nobody warming up behind you. You're it.
You think, though, Rivera will still just go one, the ninth?
I would assume so.
He was going
tempted.
2 last year. Boca Chica will spoil the 3-2 pitch as Lavulo was on the go with 1 out here in the 8th. So Toriel just set it up the same way, but maybe they go by committee with and Mike Stanton also. I forgot to mention Stanton with Graham Lloyd from the left side.
Yeah, I think it's going to be real interesting the 7th, 8th inning of Yankee games what happens, because I'm sure Joe's going to want to go to Rivera in the 8th. He likes him because he feels that probably it's an incorrect word, but he can abuse him a little bit because he throws just fastballs.
Called strike 3 on Boca Chica. Lavulo was on the gallop. Rebelay covering, and Tim Laker's throw maybe got a little bit of a piece of Torey Lavulo, the way he's reacting as he slid into second base. He and Rebelay in conversation about it right there at the middle of the diamond.
Well, so he got him on the wrist, showing exactly where it got him. This is a nice pitch from Armando. That forkball he's been working on. Laker comes up throwing. He's a little to the first base side. And as Lovello puts up his hand to slide, gets hit with the pitch.
So Boca Chica, the strikeout victim from Armando Benitez, his first of the afternoon. This, of course, his first inning of work. And here's old Henry Rodriguez, who just missed his last time, sending Eric Davis up against the right field wall.
Well, this is fastball pitcher, fastball hitter.
You don't expect Armando, though, to give in, do you?
No, I wouldn't be surprised if he throws this forkball and slider to Rodriguez. This is really Armando has learned this spring that he doesn't have to challenge everybody with his best stuff. He's become more of a pitcher. That little visit from Laker was about the first time a runner's been on second, getting the sign straight.
Benitez will check on Lovulo. Now will scamper to third base as Tim Laker has a few problems digging the baseball out of the dirt.
Well, Armando is not the easiest to catch.
He's a little bit here, there, and everywhere.
He can throw in the mid-90s with life. Forkballs they sort of tumble, very difficult to read for a catcher.
The 1-0 to Rodriguez. Up and away, 2-0 on Henry. Expos by 1 at 3-2 here in the top of the 8th. Montreal looking to add one here with 2 out against Armando Benitez, and he has fallen behind 3-0 right now on Henry Rodriguez.
So that was a 2-0 forkball. Randy Myers starts to get loose.
Now they're just going to go ahead. Ray Miller and Davey Johnson decide to, with the first base open, put Henry Rodriguez on. So Rodriguez now to occupy first base to get Sherman Obando to the plate in this 2-out situation.
Well, Davey not taking any chances with Rodriguez. Rather have him attack Sherman Obando.
Obando, who was a first inning defensive replacement for the starter Vladimir Guerrero. Guerrero fouled a pitch off his foot and left the contest. Now the former Oriole trying to do a little bit more Montreal Expo damage right now.
Well, Armando appears to be struggling with his rhythm, as we alluded to. He's been a little quick in his delivery, rushing to the plate. Therefore, the ball comes up in the strike zone. The arm has to drop to catch up.
Benitez all set with the 1-0. Good life on that fastball on the inside corner.
See, when he gets that elbow up at least shoulder height in that delivery, the ball has that downward plane. Going much crisper.
Runners at the corners with the lead, went off speed with that 1-1, and now ahead of Sherman Obando. Mike, is that the most difficult thing for a kid with all kinds of potential, the tremendous ability like this, to just get him to understand the nuances of being a pitcher?
Well, it's the same really with any young pitcher. Usually in this game, you're not forced to learn until you're forced to learn. You don't learn to change speeds usually until you come up with an arm injury or something of that nature. But if you can...
On the ground, softly to Gruber. Kelly's got to hurry, got it across to Jerome Walton, and that'll retire. Sherman Obando in Montreal here in the 8th. The Expos strand a couple against Armando Benitez. We'll go to bottom of the 8th. The Birds will try to do business. Down 1 to Montreal, 3-2. All rights to this Major League Baseball telecast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this telecast without the express written permission of the Baltimore Orioles and Westinghouse Broadcasting Company is strictly and solely prohibited. Alongside Mike Flanagan, I'm Michael Regai. We're going to the bottom of the 8th at Fort Lauderdale. Orioles down 3-2, and right fielder Chris Grisham at the plate, banging one foul off his left foot as he leads it off here against Mark Valdez. Mike?
Well, Valdez, 25 years of age. He's been up to the big leagues a short period of time. gained his first major league win last September 2nd against the Cubs.
That's twice now for Chris Gresham.
I think you already can see Valdez has an outstanding sinker ball. Gresham may end up with one of those ankle pads.
This young man have a chance to figure in the major league plans of the O's down the road?
Well, if you're a young man in this Montreal Expos organization, you have a chance. Outstanding.
That's 3 consecutive times he's went off his left foot at the plate.
So if you're a pitcher, you have to throw it again. You figure he's going to take one. Even Gresham having a smile. I can see manager Felipe Lou behind a little grin.
3 hacks for Chris Gresham. Contact.
He's got to take.
Foot.
He's got to take. Just to give the foot a break.
Yeah.
And Valdez was nice enough to throw a slider, took the heat off. Now he'll come back with a fastball down and in.
Surprised you. He stayed away from that heat.
That sinker will be coming right here.
The 1-2. Moved him back a little bit upstairs. 2-2 now on the Birds right fielder, Chris Gresham. Gresham this year, 3 for 4, 750. He'll take that north with him for wherever his stop is going to wind up in this Orioles system.
Well, he missed a foot on that one.
Close, though.
Yep.
Gresham leading off the bottom of the 8th. 3-2 Expos. Pitchers have pretty much dominated today. Orioles with 7 base hits, but only able to manufacture a couple of runs. Gresham with a bomb to deep left. See you later. Chris Gresham with the first big blast of this Grapefruit League season for him. The solo shot to tie us at 3. Well, he banged his left foot 3 times and then said, "I'm going deep," and delivered it to tie us up at 3.
Well, got a sinker ball up in the zone, and Gresham all over it. Used to that sinker down and in. Bell-tie sinkers don't work. Gresham all over it.
Chris Gresham leading off the 8th, touching up Mark Valdez. Battled back from an 0-2 hole to deliver the one big swing. Kelly Gruber at the plate for the Birds now. Kelly had that line shot base hit his first trip to the plate. Gruber with a blast. Deep center field. Santangelo back to the edge of the track to squeeze it. Oh, Kelly made a bid. Went about 395 out there to dead center field. Trying to get the Birds on top in a big hurry.
This is what they've seen from Gruber the last 10 days to 2 weeks. Even his outs have been loud. Any part of the park except dead center field. It had at least extra bases.
I'll bring up the O's DH Chris Hoyles. Hoyles hitting now with 1 out here in the 8th. So that slider that stayed down. On the day today, Chris with a base hit and got hit by a pitch his last turn back in the 6th. Came in here 239 on the year. Had hit his first home run bomb of the spring last Sunday against Greg Maddux. That time the slider bit on the outside corner. 1-1 now on Hoyles. Downstairs, 2-1 now on Chris. We're tied at 3. The O's have battled back from a 3-0 deficit using the long ball to do it. Solo home run shots from Jeffrey Hammonds and now from Chris Gresham here in the 8th. on and missed. Hoyles right through that hard stuff from Valdez. We're even at 2-2. The booth to our right this afternoon, the O's Radio Network broadcast team of Jim Hunter and Fred Manfra beaming it back to the city of Baltimore and surrounds on the O's Radio Network. And well, there they are. Hunter there in the middle of your screen, and of course Fred Manfra on the right. And Dr. Paul on the end. And Dr. Paul keeps the dials spinning smoothly. Chris Hoyles has drawn the one-out free pass from young Mr. Valdez, so the Orioles now have the potential lead run on in the person of Chris Hoyles here in the bottom of the 8th. That'll bring up the catcher, Tim Laker. Tim Laker came over from this Expo organization this past week.
It looks like he's going to swing a good bat. He's had to see him for really a couple of days, take batting practice. They're trying to work in getting used to some of the pitchers.
Laker's going to bang it on the ground to short. Boca Chica's going to start that 6-4-3 express. They'll turn over the double play off the stick of Tim Laker. That'll get Valdez out of the 8th, but Chris Grisham has tied it with a solo home run shot. We'll go to the 9th, tied at 3 on HTS. Hey, Birds fans, the official Orioles MasterCard is one baseball card every fan like you of the Baltimore Baseball Orioles should have. The no annual fee card is available right now by calling the number that you see on your screen. It is a hit, so make sure you get your Orioles MasterCard today. We're going to the 9th. Randy Myers on for at least an inning of work here out of Davy Johnson's bullpen. Mike?
Well, Randall Kirk Myers, now 34 years of age, recorded 20 or more saves the last 5 straight seasons. Fastball, slider, straight change. Nothing much has changed with Randy, still a power pitcher.
And he's looking at Joe Orsulak. Orsulak, the former Oriole, the DH today. Orsulak has had the one base hit on the afternoon. Joe's going to go the other way and bang it on a couple of skips to Kelly Gruber, who's gone across, and Orsulak's gone to begin the Montreal night.
That wasn't an easy play for Kelly Gruber. Orsulak just trying to slap the ball and run, but Gruber protecting the line. In a tie game. Right there.
Now Randy Myers going to work. Fly ball lifted to the gap in left center field. Jeffrey Hammonds with the glasses down, and he'll handle it. Joe Siddall, the catcher, hitting, and Siddall is the second out here in the Montreal ninth. So what, 3 pitches, Mike? And Randall Kay is
2 pitches, 2 outs. You know, if you're an old school pitcher, this one should be right down the middle. See if you can get 3 pitches, 3 outs.
Is Randy one of the type of guys that pretty much is on his own card in spring training in terms of letting Ray Miller and Davy Johnson know how much work he needs and when?
Yeah, he pretty much knows at this stage in his career what he needs to get ready. He's one of the last to arrive in camp. See just 6 innings here in Florida.
He's ahead of F.P. Santangelo, now even up that count at 1-1 as Randy missed with a breaking ball.
He's told me that he feels pretty comfortable facing the left-handed hitters so far, but a little uncomfortable with the right-handers. A hard time getting the ball inside.
Santangelo off the end of the bat, lifts it down the line and left. Long run for Tony Tarasco. He'll glove it, crossing that foul line down in the corner. We are going to the bottom of the 9th from Fort Lauderdale. Easy 1-2-3 for Randy Myers. We're tied at 3 on HTS. Although the Orioles did not turn a Deer Park double play this contest, Deer Park Spring Water will still make a donation to the local RBI program that provides inner-city children with the opportunity to learn and enjoy the game of baseball. Deer Park, now that's real good water. New hurler here in the bottom of the ninth, the left-hander Carlos Perez.
He's signed by the Expos as a minor league free agent in December. This past December. Hasn't had too much work as a lofty ERA. He's been around for 6-7 years now through the minor league system.
Going to try to win it here in the bottom of the ninth against Carlos Perez, and we understand from the truck that if the O's don't push anything across here in bottom 9, we'll play one more inning. We'll go 10 with Mike's been talking about all day, this being getaway day for the Orioles back to Baltimore.
Well, also limited pitching staffs at this point in spring training, gauging everything around being ready for opening day on Tuesday. Certain number of pitchers available for tomorrow's game.
Tony Tarasco with a line shot down the line in right, but it drifts foul. Tarasco jumping all over Carlos Perez's first delivery and making a bid for extra bases.
Well, the way you want to attack a left-handed pitcher, if you're a left-handed hitter, is some say hit the first thing straight, and that's certainly what Tony did. Jump on that first fastball. Just a little quick.
Tarasco with a couple of bounce outs on his day's work today. Tony came in here starting the day at 273. He also walked in this contest and has hit 2 home runs this spring. The 1-1 from Perez. 2-1 on Tarasco.
I think the thing that Davey Johnson wants most is to get his team as healthy as it is at this moment out of Florida. Really received some bad news the last couple of days. Looks like Pete Incaviglia won't be ready for opening day. Brady Anderson is a question mark.
Tarasco banging hard, but straight to the glove of a second baseman who tosses out the leadoff hitter, Tony Tarasco. So that's 1 gone here in the Orioles' ninth.
You already know you're going to be missing Roberto Alomar for the first 5 games of the season. He's a very popular man today. Phil Info, traveling secretary. Talking with Andy Etcheberry.
Busy man, in addition to being a popular man. Mike Bordick will ground it to the glove of shortstop Bocachia, but Bocachia came up throwing wildly. Bordick trying to stretch it into second, and he's in there safely. The Orioles, on the hustle of Mike Bordick, have the potential winning run now in scoring position with but 1 out here in the ninth. Bocachia came up gunning into the dirt. Torey Lovullo not able to pick it. That's going to be E6 on Bocachia to allow Bordick now to be, as we said, in scoring position.
Well, I didn't think he had a chance to get to second base on this. The catcher really hustling down the line to back up this play. He sort of rolls over, makes a terrific player. That ball ends up in the dugout. And very close play at second, but clearly safe.
Let's see if Jeff Rabelais can deliver now. His double play partner for the time being, Mike Bordick. Rabelais looks at that Polito fastball for a called strike. Jeff popped out in his only plate appearance this afternoon. He replaced Robbie Alomar back in the 4th. The O's crowd here in Fort Lauderdale looking for Rabelais to deliver. Handles the bat pretty well, Mike. The guy that's been around this game for quite some time, can do a lot of things for you, and not bad in a situation just like this when you want the ball put into play.
No, he's a pretty good fastball hitter. He uses the whole field.
1-1 coming from Polito to Rabelais. Goes the other way. Base hit down the line in right. Here comes Bordick. You can book this one to the Birds on the base hit off the bat of Jeff Rabelais. Mike Bordick touches in, so the error from Bocachia comes back to hurt the Expos. The double play combination combining in the ninth. Mike Bordick started it. Jeff Rabelais finished it. So the Orioles win their 18th of the year on this Jeff Rabelais base knock.
Well, again, Rabelais not trying to do too much, just puts it in play, goes with the pitch, up and out over the plate. And Bordick's speed easily beats the throw to the plate.
So the Orioles finish up the Great Poop campaign in Fort Lauderdale with a 4-3 come-from-behind win in the ninth over Montreal. We'll come back, total it up, tell you about it on HTS. Back at Fort Lauderdale Stadium on HTS, the Orioles come back from a 3-0 deficit. Hang Montreal with a 4-3 loss on the Jeff Rabelais ninth-inning base hit that plated Mike Bordick. Randy Myers the win, Carlos Perez the loss. More coming up to talk to you about on HTS after you give us this timeout. Do it late. They beat the Montreal Expos 4-3 this afternoon as the O's come up with the victory. They were in a 3-0 hole and then used the home run ball, Mike, to get it done as Jeffrey Hammonds, Chris Gresham got the Orioles back tied at 3, and the double play combination of Bordick and Rabelais in the ninth inning manufacturing that game-winning run.
Well, I think the thing we got to think about is the Scott Erickson injury, number one. We cannot afford to have another injury to this team. But really on today's game, the bullpen gives up one hit the last 5 innings, and they give the Orioles a chance to win. Once again, Jeff Rabelais comes in and does something positive for the club. A big hit in the ninth, and Hammonds and Gresham. Hammonds continues to hammer. Exciting team.
Yeah, 18-11 as they break camp here in Fort Lauderdale. Do you feel good about the way not only this club is constituted, but the way that they're going in, albeit with the Anderson and Incaviglia situation, into 1997?
Well, I think so. They're going to be very strong on the the pitching staff. Let's face it. They're going to have some quality arms out there. They're going to do what they did today a lot during the summer.
Mike Flanagan, it's been a pleasure, and we'll do it again, about 24 hours from right now in Camden Yards. Today went the Birds' way. They beat the Montreal Expos. Randy Myers with the win. Jeff Rabelais with a game-winning hit. 4-3, the final. Baltimore over Montreal. HTS coverage of Orioles baseball has been brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places and do things you just never thought possible. Fly Southwest Airlines. By Bell Atlantic, NX Mobile, the cellular leader. By Miller Lite, who reminds you that just anything can happen at Miller time. Also by Heckinger and Heckinger Home Project Centers. Heckinger and nowhere else. By Safeway Food and Drug. Nobody does it better. And also by Pepsi. They are the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. Orioles baseball returns your way to HTS tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock when the O's host the St. Louis Cardinals from Camden Yards in Baltimore. Now for our producer-director Chris Glass, Mike Flanagan, and the entire HTS crew, I'm Michael Regite, thanking you for your Orioles baseball company today. O's baseball has been a presentation of HTS, the Baltimore Orioles, and your local cable operator. Till tomorrow from Camden Yards. So long, everybody.